Okay, so welcome everyone to our Study Abroad podcast series. So today we have Harshita, who is now working in UK, and she is from India, and we'll be knowing about her journey from India to UK. So welcome, Harshita.
Thank you, Shah.
So Harshita, when was the very first time you thought about going abroad?
Uh, to be honest, like since from my childhood, I was always fascinated about going to Europe and studying there. So basically, I could say like in the class of fifth or sixth, actually, I was passionate about doing like aeronautical engineering and going to Germany and taking a master course there and getting into Boeing or Airbus was actually my dream. But over the time, like I discovered that I have interest in other things except the technical activities. Like I was actually a part of a club in my bachelor's days called Aero Club, which was a technical club. But there, along with doing technical activities, I was into like social media stuff and I was promoting those events and all those things. So actually, there was a bit of a deviation from my tech career to the marketing part of it because, like, I graduated in COVID era and like even I was placed in one of the company, but due to some consequences, we didn't get the offer letter in time. That is when actually I started applying for job. And but back in my mind, I always had this thought in my mind that I have to do masters that too in abroad, not in India. So basically, I started my research to study abroad to do an MBA, but later I realized to do MBA in a reputed university, I should be having more than like 4 to 5 years of experience. That is when I started researching more along with my work. So, like maybe around 2020 or 2021 end, actually, I started researching a little serious about this. And actually, I had so many options because, like, I was from a technical career. I would go to do MS in electronics and communication, or I had one more option of going into management. And actually, my job was in marketing, so I had an opportunity to even go there. So I was a bit confused, to be honest. But I took a while to decide what is good for me and what would fetch me a job in UK. So that is when I decided to do management, but something specialized in marketing because already I had like 1.5 to 2 years of experience working back in India. So I thought I would go to management with marketing to basically my target countries were like UK or Europe countries, but later I finalized it to UK. Yeah.
Sure, sure. And you are working for this company called Foreign Admits, which also helps to students to go
Decide, yeah.
abroad. So that would have probably also motivated and added to your knowledge that these are the courses, countries,
Uh,
and things available.
yeah, definitely. Yes, actually, I was part of the marketing team in foreign admits. So, actually, working in foreign admits gave me an exposure to look pros and cons of all the countries and which is right for me, which is not. Because usually people from India who are from technical background usually opt for Germany or USA, but I didn't wanted to go to both the countries because Germany I will be having a language problem because I am from a South Indian. I India basically from Karnataka, and to be honest I struggle to speak in Hindi, and learning one more language that is Germany would be difficult for me. So Germany was not an option. And when it comes to US, yes, US was an option, but with respect to financials and even the distance that compared to UK, it's like really, really far. So even US was not an option for me. So I was looking for a option which is feasible for me and even like financially not hectic. Yeah.
So UK was the only place you applied, or you applied to any other country also?
I applied for UK and Ireland. So these two were the countries that was there in my mind, because US, Canada, and other European countries, like other European countries, will be having this language barrier, but US and Canada is far from India, and even in terms of the financials, it's gonna cost us more than what it costed me right now. Yeah.
And also the timing, like usually US, Canada have 2 year of MS, UK has 1 year of MS.
Yeah, even that was a plus point too. Even like nowadays, even US universities are offering like 1 year course, but they're not very popular. And I was very clear in my mind, I need to get into a university which is in top 100 of global ranking. So that was the main reason which I didn't opted for other universities. Yeah.
And did you follow this QS ranking, or what ranking did you follow in this top 100 thing?
I used actually two resources for this. One was Financial Times, and one more was QS ranking. Uh, honestly, I believe only these two sources for university ranking list, because there are hundreds of different organizations who do this ranking, but I don't feel they are like genuine.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure, sure, sure. So according to this QS ranking and Financial Times ranking, you decided that okay, UK universities are the best for you. And then how many colleges, universities did you apply to?
I applied to 8 universities, which included UCL in Ireland, Trinity in Ireland, University of Edinburgh, Warwick, and University of Bath, University of Leeds, University of Glasgow. So these were the 8 universities which I applied for, and I got offer letter from 4 universities. I got offer from Glasgow, Leeds, Bath, and Trinity too. But I didn't like Trinity was a better college than all three of this. But I got a scholarship in University of Bath. Even that was a plus point for me. And even I got scholarship from University of Leeds. So like after getting the scholarship, actually I reduced my options to either whether it's Leeds or the Bath. So yeah.
Okay, so that's how you narrowed down your option and ultimately
Yeah.
came to University
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
Bath.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. So this
Yeah. And
scholarship
actually,
is
even I can.
automatic.
Sorry.
Yeah, please
Uh,
continue.
yeah, one more option was, as I was focused into marketing, these two universities were having a very good reputation and very good ranking in terms of marketing, because the University of Bath was the year when I studied it, it was in top third in UK for marketing, and even the Leeds was in between top 10 in UK for marketing. So even that was one more point which I considered compared to Trinity, because Trinity was a really good college compared, like when we compare overall global ranking. But when it comes to my course, these two were good. And even the course structure was more practical approach. We didn't have dissertation in the final semester. Even we had like a uh, internship kind of thing that which we are supposed to work with a company and provide the report. Even that helped me in deciding what is best for me, along with the scholarship.
Sure, sure. And this scholarship that you got was automatically given to you, or you had to apply separately for these?
For Leeds, actually, I applied separately, but for University of Bath, it was automatically enrolled for me. So along with my offer letter, I got a scholarship.
Sure, sure, sure. And that also is a very good feeling, from inside that, okay, fine. They are giving me this offer as well as scholarship. So probably I can
Yeah.
consider this. So your scholarship adjusted fee of, let's say, the four offers, which one would have actually costed you the least, just in terms of finances, please?
Yeah. Actually, to answer this question, the University of Leeds would have costed me less compared to Bath, because even the scholarship amount was quite higher. At the same time, the cost of living in the city of Leeds was cheaper. But even after that, I opted for University Bath because of two main reasons. One was the course structure was really good when compared to Leeds. because it was more of a practical approach and it was more of a case study approach. It was not like just go to class, study, and write your dissertation, write your exams. It was not like that. It was more practical. So the course structure was really good. And the second option was, compared to Leeds, Bath was a very safer city. And along with that, third factor was Bath is really near to a tech hub called Bristol. So these were the three factors which actually helped me to decide which would be good location for me, because I'm a single child to my parents and they were really scared to send me to abroad. So even I wanted to consider the safety, because honestly these days in almost all European countries the crime is increasing, especially in the northern side of UK. The crime is quite high compared to southern part. So even that is one of the reason why I didn't opted for Leeds.
Sure, sure. And the application to these eight universities, you had to probably write like an English test, like a GRE, TOEFL, IELTS, etc. Which test did you write?
Yeah, to be honest, actually, I wrote IELTS and GMAT, because, like as I said before, I wanted to do an MBA, but without doing research in a first go, I started preparing for GMAT. After giving exam of GMAT, then I started researching about the college. So I had a GMAT score of 640, and I had IELTS score of 7.5 overall band. So I had a lot of options to apply because I had a GMAT score. Usually, UK universities doesn't require the GMAT, but it was like an extra from my end. So I consider writing these two exams, because IELTS is compulsory. We need that English language test qualification for almost all the universities in UK. It depends. If the university ranking is low, they don't really ask for these tests. But if you want to get into good universities, then this is the minimum requirement what you have to provide. Like your overall band should be above 6.5 to 7. And but I had a GMAT. I had a advantage there to stand out from other applicants. So yeah, basically, like I wrote these two exams.
Sure, sure, sure. And apart from that, you had to give a letter of recommendation, two or three letter of recommendation with each application.
Actually, every university has different criteria here. For like University of Edinburgh and Trinity, actually we wanted to give three recommendation letters along with SOP. And for other university, it was two recommendation letter along with an SOP. But for University of Bath, uh, like they had a set of question which are supposed to be answered by ourselves. It was not like one statement of purpose what we are submitting. Like they had a different questions based on, I could say, like a behavioral kind of a questions. So we were supposed to answer those questions and submit the application. So it was different for different universities.
Sure, sure. And
But
in your Yeah, and in your statement of purpose, like you already were working with a study abroad consultancy. Did you mention something like that, that actually I work for this study abroad consultancy and I sort of created so many marketing things here and there, and this is the reason, I like this
uh,
university the most, something like that?
no, no. I didn't mention something like that, because like I consulted, like as I was working for a study abroad consultancy, I consulted my managers and seniors and the counselors who are working there. Most of them mentioned it like it's not good to mention something like that. So in your SOP, you always need to highlight your achievements, what you have done in your like bachelor's days, and even in your like any volunteer activities that you have conducted, or any other uh, like a award that you have received in your professional career. So my SOP actually had a really good story since from my childhood, like how I was fascinated about tech and marketing, and then it went to what happened in my bachelor's days, and how did I transform my journey to tech to management. And later it was like I highlighted my few achievements in my career. And even like I'm a Bharatanatyam dancer from, like, I'm practicing Bharatanatyam since age of 5. So even I highlighted that because everyone told that shows the consistency in your profile. And like there were many factors which I considered to write an SOP. So to be honest, like I took a guidance to write an SOP. It was not easy task to do.
Sure, sure, sure. And in your letter of recommendation, you had like two or three people. Which three people or two people did you choose for your case?
As I said before, different university wanted different recommendation. Some of the universities wanted two academic letter of recommendation, but some university wanted one professional, one academic. So I took a letter, one from my manager when in the company which I was working, and two other letter of recommendation from my university in my bachelor's. Basically, one letter I took from a professor who was directly related to the course which I studied. But one more letter of recommendation I took from a person who was like the head of the club. He was a technical coordinator of that club, because like all the 4 years when I was there in my bachelor's, I was part of the club, and almost all my achievements were with respect to that club in my bachelor's day. So I didn't want it to miss. So I took a letter of recommendation from that person, like the technical head of the club.
Yeah. So one letter of recommendation you took from foreign admits also, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So actually, indirectly, you did mention that then.
Yeah, but until we mention it's a study abroad consulting firm, they really don't get to know what company it is.
Okay, 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 okay. I see, I see. So you mentioned that you worked in the company and the way the recommendation letter was written didn't really pinpoint exactly that it's what kind of
Yeah,
company. But
yeah.
anyway, I mean, if
Like,
somebody wants to find,
well,
they can find.
yeah, because like in my professional letter of recommendation, it was more about my achievements that I did in the company, and like what impact I brought to the business, because as I was doing a management with marketing course, that was really helpful for me. And with respect to academics also, it was not like pure academic kind of a LR. It was more like along with my academics, what else I did in the college, and what clubs I participated or what competition I won. It was more of that. It was not like I studied this subject, I scored this much. It was not like that. It was like a mixture of my academic achievements, but it was more linking towards management aspects of it, to justify that I'm a good candidate to do a management masters.
Sure, sure. So SOP, LOR, your mark sheet, and your resume, let's say, and then maybe some like a cover letter, etc. What kind of weightage do you think is given to each of them? Like I mean, any wild guesses? What do you think is the weightage of these in a full application
Uh,
process?
yeah, actually, you can, like, some of the universities even have these like percentages in the university website. But if I want to take a wild guess here, I feel for if it is a master's course, like a MSc or master's course, not an MBA, it's like 40 to 50% of the weightage will be given to your academics, what you had in the bachelor's, and rest 50 to 60% will be given to the overall profile of it. If even in that, if I want to break down, 25% would be your SOP, and 10% would be your letter of recommendation, and rest 20% would be the resume.
Sure, sure, sure. And this was your first trip to UK?
Yeah, it was my first trip to UK. Like, that was my, to be honest, that was my first flight that I've taken in my life. But it was directly to UK.
So a lot of first things happened in your life. How was your visa application
Yeah.
journey? Was it hiccups? There was any hiccups or all smooth? Yeah.
Yeah. With respect to visa documents and visa process, first thing was actually I sorted my financial stuff. Second thing was, as I'm like especially in South Indians, we have this initial thing in our name. So basically, my name was Harshitha GS, but my passport had like a full name, which would be a problem in visa application. Even like all my mark sheets, everything was the shorter name, that is Harshita GS, but my passport was in a different name. So when I consulted my counselors, they suggested me to take a affidavit from the court. So basically, I took a affidavit from the court saying that Harshita GS and Harshita Ganigara Suresh both are the same person. So I sorted this. Then it was like the filling the application part. It was a really lengthy application that need to be filled. So that application gonna ask every single detail that is related to us, including how the financials have been arranged, whether someone is sponsoring for us or not, whether we have scholarship or not, and what our parents does. Every single detail will be there in the application process. Once the application is submitted, actually it gonna ask us to select the dates for biometric appointment. Uh, so it's up to us, like if we want any prior dates, then we can actually pay some money of 2000 or 3000 rupees, and we can get a priority date. If not, there will be slots available throughout the week. We can just choose one and just hop in. So once we get that, we actually get a invitation letter from for the biometrics. Basically, while going for the biometrics for UK, we have to take documents, every document that we use to apply for the university, along with the cash letter and even this appointment. And it's good to have a Xerox and the original documents. If someone asks there for a Xerox, we can just give it. So in biometric process, it was all smooth. Basically, I opted for one more additional service of scanning my documents. So the VSF office people only scanned my documents, and it was all smooth. And my biometric, I didn't have, like, they didn't ask me any questions. I was lucky, but few of my friends told like there will be like a short interview that gonna happen, but it was all cool for me.
Sure, sure, sure. And after you got this, and then you had to book accommodation, right? So anyone helped you with the accommodation? How was your accommodation booking process?
Like with respect to accommodation booking, like as I opted for University of Bath, like University of Bath had lots of university accommodation that have been provided. It was quite expensive, but as a girl, I feel like university accommodations are much safer than staying outside, because like you will be having every single service from the university, including Wi-Fi, including the cleaners. It's like safety. Even you will be having security guards, CCTVs everywhere. So I opted for a university accommodation. But if you want to book the university accommodation, they're gonna sell out very fast. So soon after deciding the university, I would recommend everyone, if they want to opt for a university accommodation, they could just soon after accepting the offer letter, they could book it with a minimum booking fee. It would be like 25 to 30 pounds. But most of my friends were in like a private accommodations. Even they were good. So it's all up to our choice how where we want to be. So yeah.
Sure, sure, sure. And which flight did you take, and how did you fly? Like which location to which location? How was your flight journey trajectory?
Okay, like yeah, the first flight which I took was actually Etihad. I had a layover in Abu Dhabi. It was like 14 hours flight from Bangalore. So I had a stop in Abu Dhabi, and there was a layover of 1.5 hour. Then again the flight, there was change in flight basically. I had 1.5 hour layover from there, from Abu Dhabi to London. Actually, from London, uh, actually university provided the shuttle bus, but we missed it somehow because there was some delay of 30 to 45 minutes in my plane, so we missed this bus. But uh, actually that day it was some strike that was going on in UK, and later part was really hustle for us, because like we actually landed in the like in the airport, and actually we were looking for a bus that would take us to Bath, but there was a uh, strike in the train, and there was some disruption. So the in the app it was showing we used like I landed at 4 o'clock, and it was showing that the bus gonna arrive at 7. But the bus didn't arrive. It arrived around 10:30, 11. So we took bus at 10:30, 11. Then by the time I reached Bath, it was like 3:30 in the midnight. So that is that is good thing about university accommodation. Even at that time, actually, the security people escorted us. Even they gave us the key, and they escorted us to the accommodation, and everything was smooth. But this disruption with respect to strike was unknowing for us. But I would recommend the people who are flying should check this. Like it can happen anytime.
Did you fly alone or you had like few people together flying with you?
I just had one more friend with me. Like even she was flying from Bangalore, so we both were together. But in the flight, you will meet many people when you are coming first time, because most of them will be students, especially if you are flying in September.
Sure, sure. So the friend of yours came all the way to the accommodation, is it?
Like she had a different accommodation building, but like till Bath she was with me.
Okay, okay, sure, sure, sure. And once you arrived in Bath and then you settled at your apartment, your accommodation, you had to probably do cooking, cleaning, etc. by yourself. Was that a shock for you? You were used to it? I mean, anything that you got adjusted to?
Cooking was, to be honest, cooking was really a shock for me, because I didn't cook before when I was in Bangalore, even in my home. That was the first time I started cooking. But with respect to cleaning, as I said, it was a university accommodation. We used to get cleaners every once in a week, so they used to come and clean everything. So cleaning was not a problem. But I'm supposed to clean my room. That was since childhood I was doing that, so it wasn't a problem. But cooking, yes, I learned cooking after coming to UK. Like initial few days, like I prepared my mom prepared myself in a way that like I had all these like ready to make upma, ready to make dosas and everything, so that I used them for like 15-20 days until I settled. But after that, I started cooking. Now I could say I'm like a master chef in doing all the food which I like.
Did you also use the Maggie hack?
Yeah, Maggie is a lifesaver, to be honest. Uh, and it was like I got like 5 to 6 packets of Maggie from India. But good thing in UK is we get a lot of Maggie. Even it's not that expensive as I thought, because like per 1 pound we get like 5 packs of Maggie, which actually double the price. But yeah, like getting it from India, it's better to buy here.
Sure, sure, sure. And maybe you can sell some in black also when you make
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Sure, sure. And after this, you started your college, the classes and all. So, what was the key difference in the way people are taught the education system in general, UK versus India, according to you?
Uh, yeah. Back in India, it's more of like theoretical basis, and it's like go to college, study, and come back, write the exam, get the scores. That's it. There, even after doing engineering, it was more like this, because I did electronics and communication. We had labs, but even the labs were restricted to set of experiments that we need to do. There was no innovation in that. And to be honest, the way of studying in my college was, I was not using my brain, to be honest. It was like there were set of things that need to be followed. I was following that, and I was reading that, and I was doing it, and I was getting some scores. But when I came to UK, it was completely different. It was more like, here nobody gonna teach us what to do. It's more like, this is a problem statement, and these are the resources you have, and you have to solve it. Basically, it was more of a like case study approach, I would say. Like in the classes, they used to discuss the case studies that happened with different companies and different scenarios, and we used to get an assignment uh, based on the topics that have been taught in the class. Even the assignments were like they no, like none of the professors told us to choose this company or that company. It was, they gave us the complete freedom of choosing our company, choosing our topic, but they had a set of instruction that need to be followed and a set of topics that need to be covered in my assignments. So it was more like a practical approach here, and to be honest, like uh, we have to use our brains. Without that, we can't really clear any of the exams.
And how was the experience of calling the professor by their first name?
That was so weird because we used to call our professors as sir, and sir or ma'am back in India, but here we have to call their by their first name, and it was so weird. And it took a while for us to adjust that, because every time when we went to professor and call as sir, they used to tell us on their face that please call me Richard or please call me Simon. So it took a time while to adjust that, but now it's fine. Yeah.
So what about the part-time job and internship opportunities that you took or you knew about once you are in the university?
Yeah, actually, like with respect to part-time stuff, like I was quite clear that I didn't wanted to get into part-times that doesn't help my profile. Because like I have saw my seniors who were there in Germany, who were there in US. Like everyone, most of them did like a internship, kind of like a work student or internship kind of a thing. But even like when I was preparing for my masters, even I thought I should be doing the same. But in UK it was quite different. The plan which I had in my mind didn't work, because like here, uh, if you want to do an, like in most of the companies, if you want to do an internship, they would expect you to work for 40 hours, but we have our visa restriction, timing restriction, saying that we can only work for 20 hours in a week, especially during academic week. So what I did was, like, I didn't know this was the case in UK when I came here. So I started like randomly applying for jobs, like internships and jobs that were available. Like I applied almost like 2.5 to 3 months without knowing this is the case. Uh, then like even like we had like a career fairs in our college. So after talking to many companies in those career phase, I realized this is the case. But if you are really good candidate, then you might get an opportunity as an intern or work part time here. So what I did, like uh, I was still applying for those. Actually, I landed up a part time job in a marketing agency, which even I'm currently working now as a part time. That was like I was the first person to get like a uh, part time in my domain itself, in my whole class of 160 people. uh, but most many of the people, the many of the students come here and do part times in most of the restaurants or McDonald's, Subways, this kind of a thing, where getting a job in those uh, type of work is really easy, because there is a labor shortage here. So it's very easy to get jobs in that way. It's all up to us, like where you want to work. It's if finance is the only concern, and if you have to get the part time then and there, then you have option of going into these jobs. If you want to get a good internship kind of a thing, then you have to keep applying for like 3 to 6 months to get a proper internship opportunity. So it's up to our priorities and what we want to do. So but with respect to part time, like I got a part time in the month of June, but I was using a app called Indeed Flux. Basically, it used to list the jobs that are available, like work in as a receptionist, work as a uh, like a billing person in a grocery store, these kind of jobs. You need not to get into contract here. It's more like it will be listed in that app, and if you are free in that duration, you can just book it and go work for like 6 to 7 hours and come back. So I was using this app now and then, but I didn't get into any contract as such.
Sure, sure. And you said that you continued in the same job as a full time later, or you stopped
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
resumed.
Yeah. Because like my university ended in the month of October, but I got this my job as a part-time employee. Basically, that was a full-time role. Actually, I was later I started searching for a full-time role, but in the interview, like I asked them like, this is my case. So if I could start doing part-time with you guys, then I could start working full time from the month of October. They agreed for it. So I started my part time from June itself.
Sure, sure. And then after you graduated, you converted it to a full time job.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So that way, maybe you were lucky also that you could start part time and they were agreeing to that, that okay, you can start as a part time, like an intern kind of thing. And then once you
Yeah.
graduate, you can do full time, upgrade to full time.
Yeah. I would say it's not because of luck, because before getting this job, like I applied more than 1,500 companies. Like I got 1,500 rejections. So it was, I would say it was all because of consistency and hard work. And it's also here in UK they basically see the cultural fit. They really don't care about your skills. The main thing that they notice is the cultural fit, whether you're gonna fit into their culture or not. So to understand this, it took a while for me, because in we had like a career training, everyone used to say this, but like when it comes to practicality, it would take some time to see things and go according to that. Yeah.
Sure, sure. And this 1,500 jobs that you applied for, what were the platforms you used? You used like LinkedIn and some other job portals probably?
Majorly I use LinkedIn and Indeed, because these were the two platforms where had jobs which were related to me. As I mentioned, I had experience in digital marketing. I wanted to go in that field itself. Even I had a one more option of going into consulting, but later I realized it would be easy for me to crack a job in the field where I have experience in, rather than switching my career. Because switching the career here in UK is a really difficult thing to do, because the employers are not open for the people who don't have experience. Because like culturally, in UK people start working from the age of 16, 15 as an apprentice. So those people will be having better experience than what we had back in India by any internships. So these people would prefer them rather than us. And even you might have seen, like soon after the Rishi Sunak government that came in, like the even the visa rules become a lot more tighter than what it was before. So every company in UK wanted to get a person who is from Britain or who is having visa to work with. They really didn't wanted people to sponsor a visa. So that was a drawback that happened since 2023.
Sure, sure. And finally, the job you got was through Indeed or LinkedIn.
LinkedIn.
So you can thank LinkedIn then.
Yeah, definitely yes, definitely yes. Because like all the jobs which I got till now was from LinkedIn. Low, I trust LinkedIn more than Indeed.
You are endorsing LinkedIn indirectly now.
To me, yeah, I would say that.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's good, right? I mean, you got the job through LinkedIn, so obviously you have to be, thankful enough, anyways. So in this LinkedIn, when you applied for jobs, so you use the jobs tab, or you also connected to, let's say, some managers of some companies, and then you said that, okay, fine, I would like to work in your company. What will be the process? So were you also approaching people directly, or only the job listing
uh,
that is available on LinkedIn?
No, like I got a job from the job listing itself, but I wasn't contacting the managers of that company. But my strategy was completely different. Basically, I used to send connection to the HR of the companies and these agency recruiters so that if they post any jobs, I would get that as a notification. So that was my approach. So I connected to most of the HRs from the companies which I wanted to work for, and I connected to some agency recruiters so that they would be sharing the jobs, and I would get an opportunity to apply for job as much as possible. That was my approach, but this approach worked for me. Uh, and like I was following different people who are related in my field, and I used to send them the collection. But to be honest, like I didn't send any cold emails or cold messages to them. The job which I cracked was from job listing itself.
So the job listing has always the the recruiter's name, like okay, the job hiring manager or HR manager.
Yeah,
So you used to send request or follow them so that you could
yeah,
know any other future. That's a good it's a good tip for our audience also, that I mean, you can always apply to the job, but also send a connection request or at least follow the person who has posted the job or who is the recruiter,
posted it.
like
Yeah, yeah,
the one listed,
yeah,
because then that person might be posting more jobs and things like that. And even if
yeah,
you want to do a bit of a cold or a warm, let's say, follow up, you can pretty much ping that person if they accept your connection, obviously, and pretty much maybe engage with their content also if they are posting something, because sometimes they may not be really posting things on the job listing. They may just be putting a post, right? So you would not miss that, at least by your approach.
yeah, yeah. That was my approach, and it actually worked really well for me because before cracking his job, at least I was getting the interviews. That was a good thing that happened to me because maybe my resume was optimized to the job description. So I was getting the calls, but knowing my visa status and as I was a student, most of the recruiters were not moving forward. That was what happening. But in this company, they were quite open, and it all depends on the way you perform in the interview. Uh, and you should be having an ability to convince them basically. Yeah,
So this interview that happened for your final job that you got was like a Zoom interview, online interview, or you went there to their office or?
it was basically a three-step interview which I had. First it was a general call to know my experience, which was a teams meeting. Later that actually I was sent a task that need to be completed in a period of like 7 to 10 days. Then I had a round of I was supposed to present it. Once that was done, there was a third round which they invited me to office because they wanted to see whether I fit for their culture or not. It was very informal interview. I didn't feel it was an interview at all, but uh, later, like the my manager said, it was third round of interview. We wanted to see whether you fit for our culture or not. So that was third round of interview. After that, like I got a confirmation via email. Yeah.
So the third round, you are thinking it was a casual round, but when they called you, they also made sure that you are the serious person, because only serious person will go to their office, and then obviously they are seeing
Yeah.
your body language and the way you enter and the way you
Yeah.
talk. So although they are not saying that it's your interview, this that, but they are still noticing everything.
Yeah. It was quite surprising for me because it was very normal, very casual, and I was quite shocked when I entered because like everyone was casual, everyone were talking to each other. Even they made me so comfortable. I didn't feel it was an interview, but it was part of interview process.
Sure, sure. And then again, you had to start like a part-time, right? Which later converted to
Yeah,
full-time. So that way also,
yeah,
usually company point of view, if you think, they don't worry too much about part-time starter. So they will say, okay, fine, we'll check this person more and more once she start, let's say, working. And after a few months, anyways, I
yeah,
mean, they have to upgrade you to a full-time job. They always have an option to sort of terminate or
yeah,
refer,
yeah,
etc. So it's always
yeah,
that notice period and things. So usually the recruiter is it's like kind of a step by step they are checking your abilities and seriousness.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like it's like compared to India, it was way more different that happened because in India it will be like 2 to 3 steps of interviews that gonna happen. One will be like a casual round of interview, second would be like a technical, then would be HR. But here it was completely opposite. Like the more focused what they saw was the behavioral aspects of it and how I would approach a problem to find a solution. So it was a complete different experience.
Yeah, and I guess you are applying for this marketing role, right? So behavioral
Yeah.
science is very important here because you have to really know the how the people behave, etc. Then only you can make an ad, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Because like my job is not complete like marketing communication part of it. It's more tech and marketing oriented. Basically, I should be knowing the tech at the same time. I should know the people psychology, how it works.
Correct, correct. And psychology is the best subject, I guess, after you learn marketing, isn't it?
Definitely, yes. To be honest, like sometimes I feel like I have to do some course in psychology that gonna help me a lot. Yeah.
Or probably you would have thought that you should have only done a course on psychology actually for this position.
To be honest, yes. To be honest, yes.
Sure, sure. So this
But to be
1500
like
rejection. Okay, sure, sure. Please continue about the psychology part.
actually the background which I had from tech actually helped me in pursuing my marketing job because even in marketing there is lot of numbers and technicality and I'm a data driven person. Like all my decision is based on data. So, like whatever the tech basics that I have learned in my engineering actually helping me right now because the people who are from like arts and commerce background they are struggling to cope up with this, but it's way easy for me to do things here. So, basically, the tech and the management aspects of it actually both help me.
Yeah, yeah, sure. I think the tech can help in the analytics and analyzing the performance, etc. Right? So I
Yeah,
think it's a
yeah,
good combination that way. And I think that's why many people you see do engineering then MBA. That's how they combine the
yeah,
tech psychology.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
sure, sure. And this 1500 rejections that you had, this was over a period of how many months?
For a period of 6 months, I would say.
So how was your emotional roller coaster here when you were getting rejected, ghosted by people? Sometimes did you like feel like almost like quitting and going back and things like that? And then there was this, lingering at your back of your head that no, I have spent so much money. I am here, how can I just go back and leave the battlefield just like that?
No, like, but before coming here, I was sure that I want to crack something here because I didn't have an option of going back. Because, like, uh, because none of in my family, it was more like my parents are very protective. They never wanted to send me out. So if I just even say a sentence telling that I'm feeling difficulties here, they would like come back. So I that was not an option for me. So I was quite sure that somehow I have to get a job and work here. That would boost my career overall. Because if you see the marketing job roles back in India and back in UK, with respect to pay and with respect to growth, we don't have like if you are from an IT background, then definitely India is the best place to work in. But if you are in any other domains, it's quite hard to grow and get a good pay. But here it's not the case. Like every job is treated equally, and even the pays are good. So I wanted to build a career here. So that was my motive was clear. But with respect to rejection that I was getting, like in starting few months, I was feeling really sad and I was quite unsure. I used to call my friends and I used to tell, I don't know whether I'm gonna get a job or not. They were like, it's okay, you can do. You have a time. Still, you have like 1 year to finish your course. So yes, just keep applying and start doing. After 2 3 months, I stopped even checking the rejection mails because I was got used to that whole process. But initial days it was, I felt really bad, but I never felt like quitting and going back, because we, I came here to achieve something, and without doing that, I shouldn't be going back.
It was like, it's not over till I win.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I would say it was more like a do or die situation. I have to do something. It was like that.
Sure, sure. And when you are getting all this rejection and the weather was also getting this on the depressing side, did that also add to your depression a bit more that, okay, so many rejection and now the sun is setting at 4 o'clock. So how do I really keep myself motivated? Did you feel anything? This
Yeah, like, I didn't knew like I was feeling depressed. It's because of weather, or it was something else. I was all feeling that like I don't have all my friends here. I'm away from family. That's the main reason why I'm being depressed or sad here. But later I realized it was not because of that. It was because of the vitamin D levels that are going down. Because uh because like after my uni in the not after the uni, in between the uni, in the month of Easter break, actually we had 1 month break for Easter. During that time I visited India, and I had like a blood test report, and my vitamin D levels were like just 4%, which was negligible. Later I realized it was because of the vitamin D. It's affecting my mental health, and I wasn't like, everyone told me to take vitamin D supplements, but I ignored it because I'm kind of a person where I wanted to do everything naturally. So I was not into like these supplements. But after having a blood test, like almost all my vitamins levels were low. After that I started taking multivitamins, vitamin D, and everything. Now it's fine. And but to be honest, it was affecting really badly to my mental health. Like I used to feel sad, I used to feel depressed. There are many like nights which I cried alone. But I was quite lucky because I had good friends who were with me, who used to motivate me now and then, so I was able to cope up. But telling this to the parents was not an option at all for me.
so when you are getting this vitamin levels low in your body, you didn't tell your parents, you just did a secret check.
No, I told my parents because like I was back in home. Like they wanted me to do a complete body checkup. That is when I actually did this test. Later, I realized like I have to start eating properly and take all the supplements, because when I was new to cooking, like I wasn't feel like cooking a real good food. It was more like I used to do a meal prep. Like I used to cook in batches and keep it in fridge and eat it. Even I wasn't including salads and stuff. That affected my health really bad because I'm a vegetarian. I didn't had many options, and whatever option was left, even from that, I was not getting all the vitamins. Yeah.
Sure, sure. So after taking these supplements, the sun was also better now, and then like in May, June, the sun was at the peak, and that's where probably the sun
Yeah.
god gave you the job, the vitamin D, everything all together.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely, I would say yes.
So all the good things happened almost at the same time, right? The summer and the job and things like that, and almost graduation also.
Uh,
And then the
yes,
part-time continued to
yes,
full-time,
yes,
so you
yes,
didn't
yes.
have to go through more rejections that way. There was no like abrupt end to the internship or the part-time, and then you had to
But
look
even
for.
after getting this, like even after getting this part time, I was applying for jobs. Like applying for jobs really didn't stop because I always wanted to explore more opportunities and get something good. Because we never know what happens. Because
Sure, sure.
it was a part time role, we never know whether they're gonna convert it to full time or not. So that was still going on. Because even after getting this job, actually, I landed in 7 more interviews, but due to many reasons, maybe the salary, other negotiations, they didn't turn out. But yeah, I had interviews even after that.
So when you got this part-time converted to full-time, was there like a some paperwork etc. again done, or it was all automatic, smoothly happened?
There was some certain papers work that need to be done. I wanted to submit my visa and the documentations that were required for the job, but it was not hectic documentation. It was just like 2 3 letters that need to be signed. So it was quite smooth, I would say.
So this 1 year of graduation, I mean the degree, you get a work permit of like 2 3 years, or what is the duration like after you graduate?
It's 2 years after graduation. So and here actually it works in a way like when you are even in your student visa, when you don't have university, you can work for 40 hours. Only when you have university, you can work for 20 hours. So what I did was actually my university ended in the month of October, but my student visa was ending in the month of February. So what I did was I was working in student visa itself, uh, and in the month of Jan, actually, I applied for my graduate visa and I'm currently on that. Yeah.
Sure, sure, sure. And now you are going to office like every day, or is it like a hybrid work from home, work from office thing?
It's like a hybrid job. I have 2 days work from home and 3 days in office. So it's quite flexible, I would say. Like the leave policies and everything is quite good.
And you had to move from your college city to the new city, like changing the apartment.
Yeah, because this company was located in outskirts of Bristol, so I was staying in Bath. Like commuting was costing us me more. So I after my like student accommodation contract got ended. After that, actually, I moved out to the location which is near to my office, where I could walk or I could take a bus. Yeah.
Sure, sure. And in your office, do you have any more of your like colleague students from your college or nothing like that?
No, to be honest, like I'm the only Indian in that office.
Okay, so
The office is having diversity, but like with respect to Indian, I'm the only one. There are no people from my universities, but there were people who were working in that company from my universities, but who are locals. So yeah, it was like a cultural shock for me when I went there first.
and in your class, it was probably not the case, right? You are probably not the only Indian.
No. In my case, honestly, like we were 160 people, but in that more than 60 plus people were from India.
And Chinese also probably the
So
same.
even Chinese, not exactly from China, but I would say from Asians. Yeah.
Okay, okay, sure, sure, sure. Indian Chinese
But
are
even the
everywhere.
class wise, but to be honest, like many people which I interacted with in UK say that like their class had more of Chinese and Indians, but in University of Bath, to be honest, like class had quite of diversity. We have people from America, Canada, even from Denmark, Ireland. So it was a diverse class. But yes, number wise, Indians were more. Indians and like the South Asian people were more, but the class had different nationalities and diverse. It was diverse.
Sure, sure, sure. So do you have like any future goals for the next few years as such?
With respect to my future goals, definitely I want to stay in UK and work here. Currently, I'm on my graduate visa and my skilled worker visa need to be discussed with my employer. That gonna happen maybe in next year. So that is my future. Like I have to work at least like 5 to 6 years in this country before going back. That is my current plan right now. I'm not sure, it might change later, or yeah, it depends on many circumstances. So currently this is what I'm thinking, because even like just in an year, even I got a promotion in my company, so that is a good thing. So yeah.
Sure, sure. And coming to the very last question now, would you have any pro tips, some advice for the junior yourself or the juniors who are thinking about coming to UK or any other country as such?
Yeah, definitely. I have. I can talk. hours with respect to this topic. But the quick tips I would say, like if you are planning to study abroad, start it early. At least plan 1 year before what you are doing, because the whole study abroad journey takes a lot of time. So go to the website, university website, goes to QS ranking, list down the colleges, list down the universities. So do your research. Don't blindly follow other people advice. Do your research. See the course structure, which is good for you, which is not good for you, and even research about the city and research about the accommodation type. So it should be like research, 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 and you should be having all the knowledge about what you are doing. Then only you can get the full benefit out of the study abroad journey. I would say, like, it's not that just the going to university and studying here. It's the whole study abroad journey gives us lot to learn. Especially I'm from a very small city back in Karnataka. So the people who are coming from small city, we won't be experiencing this kind of environment. Like every step is learning for us. So do your research, learn as much as possible. And the pro tip is start your journey really early. At least have 1 year prior. Plan your journey 1 year prior.
Sure, sure. Thank you very much, Harshita, for your time and your insights. It was great learning about your experiences, and I think you also gave some tips on LinkedIn, anyways. So that also is part of the pro tip package, I guess. So
Yeah.
thank you very much, Harshita. Have a good day.
Thank you. Thank you, Vishal.
Okay, bye.
Bye bye.